I'm Magda Raub. I'm a senior.
I'm Taylor Day. I'm a junior.
Okay, how far in advance did you audition?
We auditioned for this the first day of classes for this semester.
And how did you find out about the audition?
They sent out an email about our entire season and just throughout the summer sent out other emails about how we were going to audition, how it was going to work, and all that different kind of things.
Yeah, usually our auditions for every semester take place on the first day of classes. Obviously, this semester things were a little different, but they got us that information. I wouldn't say as soon as possible, but like...
As they found out more things.
Yeah, it took everyone a while to figure out what was going on. Yeah, so it's called She Kills Monsters Virtual Realms.
Our main character, Agnes, she's super just low-key. She's one of those girls in high school that was just cheerleader squad, basic girl.
She got a football captain boyfriend.
Who's also class president, like super cookie cutter girl. But
yeah,
her little
her
sister,
best friend is like her kind of opposite, you know. It's like
Yeah.
the whole like, you know, there's always the boyfriend, the best friend, and the main character, and she
Yeah.
definitely follows that plot structure.
You know, the Disney Channel original series, like that's main character's best
her life.
friend. That's always just like a little bit more. I don't really care.
That's me.
That's her. That's her character. But so her little sister Tilly is what, 3 years younger than her?
Yeah, she's a freshman in high school, and Agnes is a senior in high school.
And Tilly's really geeky. She's really geeky.
She
She's
loves
into,
D&D.
She would probably be into Doctor Who and like
Yeah.
Sherlock and all
She's
those
super
different kinds of
nerdy.
things. And one day she gets hit by a truck
And she dies.
and she dies.
So Agnes finds this notebook of Tilly's, and she opens it. She doesn't understand it. It's all written in like geek language, so she doesn't know what really any of it means. So she takes it to this guy, Chuck, and Chuck played D&D with Tilly, and he is able to take Agnes into this D&D campaign that Tilly had written and help her get to know her sister a little better. And they meet lots of crazy characters along the way.
It
and
sparks like what was almost a parallel universe of Tilly's life, but it's made whimsical and just Dungeons and Dragons, but it really reflects how she lived on Earth.
Yeah, what part did you audition for?
I auditioned for the part that I got.
I just auditioned for anything. I wasn't super specific, and I was just like, throw me in there if you want to.
Okay, how has the audition process changed from last year?
So usually our auditions are kind of a big, we call them cattle call auditions, and we'll usually do like everyone has a meeting beforehand, and we talk about the shows that we're doing and the casts and you know what they're looking for, and then we'll all get assigned numbers, and then people who are singing will run through their music with the accompanist, and then we all just kind of wait our turn in the hallway, you know, before the audition. But this year it was much different. There was no meeting beforehand, no running through the music with your accompanist. You got an assigned time, an assigned number, and you came within your window of time, and then you left.
Have you acted on camera before?
No.
No? Will you be making any acting changes for acting on camera?
It depends on how long this lasts, personally, for me, I think. I don't think until this really extends past a certain amount of time that I'll really make any personal changes
Yeah.
that are, like, permanent.
The thing
personally.
really is with acting on camera right now in the show that we're doing it in is we're still rehearsing all in person. So we're not really changing the way that we do things. You know, most of the time when you're acting on camera for a film, you can talk a little quieter, be a little more nuanced in your emotions. But since we're still doing a play and we're all working together on the stage in a play environment, we're really still just acting like you would on a stage.
Yeah. And the way we're doing it isn't really any different, except there's a camera in front of us. We aren't wearing a mic. We aren't really making eye contact with the cameras a lot. It's looking over, it's
Yeah.
looking to the side because it's supposed to be set up like a Zoom call or a Teams call. So it's never really like, I'm going to look at the camera like it's a person right on the other side.
I don't know about you, I look at my own reflection in the screen the whole time to like kind of keep tabs on what I'm doing and make sure I'm in frame and all that stuff, which is something that most of the time when you're working on like a movie or a TV show, you don't get to see yourself in the camera.
Or you're
It's a
not
little-
supposed to.
Yeah. It's like a little added bonus for us. We can kind of like make sure we're doing it right.
Are there extra crew members to record you all,
There
or
are less crew members.
there's
There
less?
are less
Okay.
crew members
to
in this one.
scale down the number of people who will be in the space at one time. Our technical director, Phil, is going to be editing everything together, but we're not 100% sure how the recording is going to work.
What they told us initially was almost you are going to act as the actor and almost your own personal tech recorder,
Yeah.
which was daunting at first to say the absolute least.
It might be we film it on our own laptops. It might be that we all use one laptop because we're filming everything individually. So we might all use one laptop and just get all the footage from there. It's kind of unclear right now.
Wait, so you're filming yourselves? And
Yeah.
Yes.
yes, how has that been?
So we haven't really been filming anything yet, but the way that we rehearse is we do everything on Discord. We have a Discord group. It has all of the actors, plus a lot of our technical members and our director in it. Our director sits there and watches everything on the iPad, and we, turn on our video when we're on stage, technically.
Yeah.
Okay, so how has the rehearsal process been different other than the Discord, obviously?
It's been super fast. It's been really quick. Usually when we do a September show, we rehearse for a month and then, we're able to go into the show. But now we've rehearsed for 2 weeks,
Yeah,
2.5.
it's actually been 2
weeks
today.
And we start
Yeah.
filming on Sunday, which means we're supposed to be done this time next week.
So usually the show that was originally slated to take place in this slot, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, has now been pushed to the spring. And that was supposed to open the same day that our show will start streaming. So normally they would have had that entire time to rehearse, where ours has been condensed because of editing, reshoots, all that stuff. We have to be ready to do it about 2 weeks early.
Do you feel as prepared as you normally would?
I have a smaller part, so yes.
I'm in a similar boat. I have a smaller part, so yeah.
And when I say
Yeah.
smaller, it's not like there really aren't like small parts in the show. Every
No.
part is really important and integral to the story, because it's about Dungeons and Dragons, and I play the main character's best friend, so I'm never shown within the Dungeons and Dragons universe, whereas you're mostly shown
I'm
there.
mostly in the Dungeons and Dragons
Um,
universe.
So because of that, my scenes are just scaled down. They're just the real life scenes. But because of that, rather than being like, oh, well, I have less to learn, this will be easier for me, and then when I'm not doing stuff, I can slack off, I've actually been taking the time where other people are working to really focus on, like, my character and, like, what can I do to make the scenes that I'm in good? And, like, what can I do to be supporting my actors? Like, because this is so difficult for us to be able to connect with people. It's like, what can I be doing to help other people? So, like, luckily for me, since I have fewer scenes and I really wouldn't say a small part, but
Well,
it's definitely a supporting part.
It's a small cast. So
Yeah.
if you aren't in every scene, it feels like a small part.
Yeah.
Because it's a good, 60, 70 page play.
Yeah.
How many
No.
people are in the cast?
We could sit here and count if you'd like, but I don't know off the top of my head. Maybe like 15. I was like, okay, well, what can I do to help? I'll memorize my lines so that on our off-book dates, the people who have more lines and longer monologues can be the ones who get that extra help, whereas
Yeah.
I can help them by just knowing my lines.
And then that makes things go by quicker too.
Yeah.
How often do you rehearse?
Every
Every day except Saturday.
every day except Saturday.
Oh wow, how long are the rehearsal
4
periods?
hours.
4 hours. Okay.
Which is standard.
It's standard.
Usually, for the first show of the semester, it is like every day except for 1 or 2 days. And then
Yeah.
usually when you have the longer time period, like our other show this semester, you get
It's-
maybe the whole weekend off. You get like
Yeah. It's Friday,
sometimes
Sunday.
Sundays, or like Sundays they'll try and call less people.
Yeah.
but it's a little bit more lax of a rehearsal schedule just because they have more time.
How do you balance out rehearsing with school?
So, speaking for myself, I do my homework when I'm not in a scene.
I honestly forget about it because everything gets scrambled, especially with all the new things. You're going back and forth from online, online assignments, in-person assignments, all that kind of stuff. So my brain's been scrambled. But honestly, just whenever I get home, whenever I wake up, and then when I'm not in a scene.
Yeah. That's the great thing about rehearsals right now is that it's kind of a blessing and a curse. We have to be there for the whole time because the show is kind of short and the rehearsal format is new and weird. And so usually if you're in like one scene that's being rehearsed that night, they can be like, oh, come at 8 and that's when we'll get to your scene. But now since it's so up in the air, it's like, can you just be there the whole time and we'll get to you when we get to you. Sometimes you're sitting there for 3 hours not doing anything, but it's a great time to do your homework.
Oh,
And it's also interesting to watch everyone else because there's always something you can steal from other people.
And they're always doing something new.
Absolutely.
Because
Even
up
when we're
until-
running, it's new.
Yes, up until the point where we record things, everyone is like, let me try this. Let me just try this. And it works so well because everything is so up in the air.
Yeah.
And, well, this is a whole new thing anyways. Might as well play with it until we can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Because usually when you're running the show, that's the time for, oh, I did this last night at the show. I'm going to do this tonight. And we don't get that.
Do you like the new rehearsal process?
Yes and no. Honestly, I like that we're getting to work in this sort of fast-paced rehearsal environment because when you get into the professional acting world, that's what it is. You have about 2.5 weeks to mount a show and get it on stage. I don't like that after this, it freezes because at least when you're putting on a show in person, you know, if for the first week you're still kind of figuring out the feel of being in the show, then the next week it's solid. And then the next week and the next week. And this is like on Sunday when we start filming,
That's it.
it's done.
Whatever
we can't
you
take
did.
it back.
That's there.
Yeah.
And you hope it looks good.
Are you excited about the new direction that plays are going, like on film?
Yes.
Yes.
I think it's awesome. I think that theater needs to be more accessible for everyone. And I think that we're seeing that with plays being filmed. I think that we're seeing that with things being like filmed during a performance and then streamed on Netflix or Hulu or whatever.
Broadway HD, all that kind of stuff.
Because it makes it so much
Yeah.
more accessible for people who maybe can't afford to go see a professional show.
And sometimes you already have that $12.99 a month subscription or $8 a month subscription, and you're like, oh wow, this play I really wanted to see on Broadway is now on there, and I already have that subscription. And you just watch it. The
Yeah.
Hamilton on Disney Plus.
Oh my gosh.
Example A.
Exactly. And they were already going to release that, and then with the pandemic, they were like, you know what, we're going to release it a year early.
And
You know,
it's an incredible thing because most people already have that platform because it has everything. And it's wow, these tickets are $1,000 sometimes.
$1,000 plus a trip to New York and travel expenses and
All
getting
that
food
different
and
stuff. I'm just gonna pay $12 to watch it tonight,
and like
and then
nothing,
maybe keep the subscription.
yeah,
you know?
and like nothing compares to live theater for me personally,
No.
but it's a really
it's
really
close.
great way to make theater more accessible to the everyday person.
Especially right now, because all you see is this is shut down, this is shut down. It just gets sad. So when you have moments like that, it's this may be a sad show, but I really like seeing my favorite actor's face really
Exactly.
close.
How long have you been a theater actor?
Oh.
So my my theater background goes way back. My mom was a musical theater major and was a high school drama teacher. Was my high school drama teacher, and she was a drama teacher when I was about 6 or 7, and so she would put me as the child roles in like a showcase or a song or whatever. And so I've kind of been doing it since then, but I didn't really decide that this is what I wanted to do for my whole life until like sophomore year of high school.
I have a very similar background. My mom was a theater major until she got married. So when they had me around 3rd grade, I went back to the community college she went to with her and auditioned for a show and was cast as the kid parts in college productions.
Yep.
That was around 9 years old, so 11 years. And it was since that moment, I knew as a kid, going forward, this is what I want to do. I enjoy this.